No breathing. Good morning, divers. I'm giving you signals. I'm hearing some background stuff a little bit, but that's okay. Good morning, everybody. We're running hot and fast today, and it is, what's today? Caddyshack Friday. Good morning, Shanda. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning, Oz. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning, Oz. Good morning, Shanda. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us again.
I think that I want to open this so I can get a couple of more things set, but I first want to give a shout out to Al Walski, our first super chat of the day. Thank you, Al. Strengthen independent media to survive the worst while hoping for the best. I think that is coined very well. And Shanda, would you like to expand on what we were talking about this very thing before the show started?
I just totally had a brain fart. I'm like, what were we talking about?
We were talking about how they're yanking the plugs on everybody.
Yes. Thank you so much. Your super chats mean so much to us. It helps us keep the lights on. It helps us get these shows out to you. But we are fighting some heavy censorship right now. I mean, within an hour last night, I had 2 shows that I was in the middle of watching on YouTube be yanked off. And when I look at the screen, it would say this has been removed by YouTube. And we're talking the gray zone with Aaron Mate. You know, these are not heavy hitting truthers. So your support means everything to us.
It really does. We are getting content built up on Rockfin, and that's just one of the platforms that we want to have as an alternative and an alternate platform. We also will take any suggestions that anybody would like to offer us graciously. Please offer them, because we're in this together, team. So good morning, and thank you again, Al Walski. Melissa, good morning, Melissa. How are you doing? Human. There's Human. I am closer to Canada than Cuba. Can you see Russia, Human? Let me see. We got Rhonda Walker, and we got Christine, the natural progressive. Good morning, Christine. How you doing? Jilly Love. Osama number 5. Oh, that was my devil's voice. I don't know if I should have done that. Anyway, good morning, Osama. Excellent musician in his own right. Wonderful. Osama, have you listened to Sana Nuna? I mean, she killed it last night on her piano live stream last night. Saga Nuna. Excellent. And Rhonda can vouch for that. I don't know if you've heard of her, Shanda, but she has got a hell of a talent in voice, and she's a fantastic pianist. So anyway, on to today. I just can't seem to lock onto what we want to start with. What did we want to start with? We want to start with Yang. How about Yang? We're getting to the Wipey Award, but let's start out with Yang so I can get set here. I'm like all over the place this morning. It's Caddyshack Friday, and and I can't even get the control to work. This is Pete Buttigieg did a live stream with Andrew Yang yesterday, and
that's quite the pair.
Yeah. Just please take note. Look at Pete Buttigieg's face in this. But I'm going to start this clip. Shut up, Oz. Start the damn clip, you moron. It's Caddyshack Friday, not lay off your job.
That I could only really describe as magical occurred yesterday that we wanted to make sure to share with you. So Andrew Yang joined Pete Buttigieg for an Instagram live stream. Yes. And Pete asked Andrew
what he's reading.
Let's take a look at
Look at Buttigieg's face.
But I launched a podcast, and with each person we bring on, if they wrote a book, I then read that book. So the reason why I was glancing around is that I literally have copies of the books like right in front of me. So one is Crystal Ball and Saga and Jenny's Populous Guide to 2020, which we had Crystal on this week.
Pete's face.
I tweeted, I was like, hey, Pete, if you decide to pick it up, no hard feelings, man, because there's some pretty scathing passages about you in the book. Yeah, I mean, it was just great.
Oh yeah, that book, they burned Pete Buttigieg down, you know. Talk about identity politics. Oh my God in heaven. That's a keeper. We're gonna put that one in the vault there. So what do you guys think of that?
I think Yang doesn't make me happy with a lot of things he does, but this made me giggle. I mean, it was almost intentional that he did that to him.
Yeah, I know it was. And in honor of Caddyshack Friday, we want to point out that Pete is auditioning for the remake of Caddyshack. And can you guess which character he's auditioning for? Or is that?
I don't know if he's got the right moves, though. I have to say, I'm just not sure he's got that shape just right.
I think he's got all the right moves. Hey, brother Pete, let's circle the wagons here. Let's get Bernie out of there and get it done. Okay, master. Okay, anyway, here we go. I digress. What are we moving on to now? I think we murdered that one fine. God, I can't even find out where I'm at. I am just all over the place this morning. I apologize. I think I'm looking for the unemployment one. Isn't that what I'm looking for? Unemployment?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Unemployment. Oh, here it is. Unemployment. Let's just start this out with a little, let's say what we've been talking about, not just we here, but everybody who's watching now and so many people on social media. We've been on track. We're not tinfoil hats. We see what's happening. It's math, baby. It's math. Now, here is the clip.
And we just received the very first monthly jobs toll that shows the unemployment rate at 14.7% in April, with a total of 20.5 million registered unemployed. Now, we should remember that number is actually likely higher, and that the Bureau of Labor Statistics warned in its report, quote, the overall unemployment rate would have been almost 5 percentage points higher than reported on a not seasonally adjusted basis. However, because of the usual practice, the data was reported this way. So
Which seems kind of bizarre that you're even doing seasonal adjustments at this point.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we
Merry
should,
Christmas. You're screwed.
unemployment rate somewhere between 15 and 20%.
Yeah, I mean, that is the worst
Horrifying no
unemployment
matter
rate
what.
registered in America since the Great Depression. And I think that is the one thing that we can take away from this. And it's just terrible. It doesn't even necessarily include, I think, the last week of jobs claims, unemployment claims that we just registered here yesterday, 3.3 million, which will just push the unemployment rate even higher. It could go all the way up to past 25%. That's what, it's funny.
You know, I'm gonna take a few more cuts out of that. But yeah, this is what all the forecasters that have a brain who are saying have been telling people. I mean, they have been lying. And do either of you want to speak to this? Because we're looking at 40% of businesses going bye-bye. What's your feeling?
But the stock market.
Yeah, but the stock market, which is a gauge of the plutonomy playing with numbers, right?
What? That's not legit to go off of?
No. No, it's
so it's disgusting. I'm just, well, I think what I'm most afraid of is that there's not enough people with their eyes open to what is actually happening, and it's going to be a rude awakening.
My take on it is, what do these numbers actually mean? You know, we've known for years that those who fall off of unemployment or that are not actively seeking unemployment, you know, jumping through their hoops, are not counted in these numbers. But, you know, yesterday something was brought to my attention by watching the Hawks on RT, Trevor Ventura's show. They actually have a form now that that employers can fill out if you quit your job or you refuse to come back because you feel that you're not being protected. They can secretly tell unemployment, and unemployment will deny you. So we're looking at Ohio specifically right now, but other states are doing it too. But if you look, like, the Ohio prison system is inundated with COVID cases. So these correction officers that are fearing for their lives, and not just their lives. We know that you could be asymptomatic. You could take it home. You could kill grandma. You can kill your aunts or uncles. If they refuse to go back to work, their employers will secretly report it to the employment office, and they will be denied unemployment.
I think our unemployment expert, Suzanne Murphy, that's what she does. She has her own company. I think she said that recently, as recently as 3 weeks ago. She's been saying it and saying it and saying it. You're just screwed if you don't go back because of the fear of, getting the virus and just dying. Other than that, it's okay, go back. And I see that didn't we see a spike yesterday in New York of the data because they started sending people back to work, and it was like, they're just. They're forcing these people to go back to work. Otherwise, they're not going to get paid. They're not going to get paid their past. They're not going to get paid their present, and they won't get paid their future. It's basically blacklisting all these people, in my opinion. Rhonda?
Totally agree. It's taking the choice out of the people's hands. When there's this pandemic, right? So it's not something that as people are making up. We're told this by our government. There's a pandemic. There's something to be fearful of. You can catch this. You can die. And then get told, well, yeah, that can happen, but, go to work for these big corporations instead because, it doesn't matter if you live or die. There's another one of you out there to fill that slot.
Well,
that really is what it's coming down to.
Yeah, and once
they don't care.
Once again, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face or I run out of oxygen. The employer-tied healthcare is done because people are forced to buy Cobra, which is hellaciously expensive when you lose your job, and it ain't working. So I'm gonna play another snippet from this clip just to see what the passion is coming out of Crystal and Sagar on this. I mean, they nail it here. I mean, unless we step up and do something for us, our government, our corporatocracy, our corporate Congress is not going to do shit for us. So let me play the end of this. It's only about a minute left here from where I cut it. I hope I got the good stuff.
From that, how many of you are struggling to pay Cobra since you've lost your jobs now? I mean, it's obscenely expensive. It's insane. Not to mention people who already didn't have health insurance. They made these choices to give so little to the American people to help them get through this crisis. And so, yeah, you're presented with this absurd false choice of stay shut down and lose everything, lose your entire livelihood, or reopen, as if those were the only two options, as if there wasn't a third way that so many other countries around the world have been able to accomplish of making sure that people could survive through this crisis. I will never stop being outraged at this. I just won't. It's unreal. And don't forget, when you see these numbers, it was a choice.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, nothing is intact. Millions of small businesses can just fall apart at the seams. I mean, so much of our economy just seems rife for takeover by 40%
big business. Of small businesses saying they're going to permanently close it. 40%.
It's such a disaster economically, morally. I mean, for so many families that, the livelihood. I mean, there's just all the way down the line in terms of what's happening across the country. And this really doesn't even really capture it. I mean, it's kind of delayed data in a way at a 20% unemployment rate at the worst, 15% at the best. And then the additional jobs claims are going to be filed this week. I mean, every single day that we continue on this way, it just means another couple 100,000 unemployment claims filed daily. And I don't know if there's a ceiling on this thing. I really don't.
It's outrageous.
So just buckle in.
Absolutely. We'll have more rising for you after.
Buckle in or buckle up or,
yeah.
or jump off the bridge or bungee cord off of whatever. They nailed it. I mean, our government has failed us. Whereas, and I think they talked in the middle of that clip that I chopped up because I'm not trying to just restream Rising or any other thing, but we are engaged in this conversation, and Rising, again, they're on the topics that I believe we should be on, because doing a daily dive, which you divers, support us, and thank you for that. We engage ourselves into that conversation. And if any of you ever have topics you want to be brought up, It's roarmedialive@gmail.com. Please, music, movie picks, everything else. So I think we've kind of put this one to rest. As far as the unemployment and the job situation, we're fucked. Things aren't going to go back to the way they were 6 months ago. And my fear, and I'll let you both finish your thought. So I was in marketing and retail for years and years and years and years, managing all that crap. I was just one of the tools. But Christmas is shipping now on a regular basis. The trade show is over, in May. When I bought all the Christmas items, it's going to ship now, and it's going to start dropping in July 1st. So all the retail establishments can start putting their shit up. Guess what? That's not happening. Okay, that's not happening at all. I mean, manufacturing's down, entertainment's down, and all the other things. I went into the damn Walmart and Costco yesterday. Guess what shelves were empty? Gold star to anybody who can get that here. Shelves were empty. Completely.
Electronics is empty. I know that.
Okay, now what about grocery stores? What shelves are empty in the grocery stores?
Well, pasta, rice, and meat has been my take from when I go.
Rhonda?
Same. Paper products can be scarce.
Ding, 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 ding.
Toilet paper.
Gold star, happy face for both of you, because the meat case was completely empty. There was no red meat. I take that back. There was a chuck roast at Walmart. It was Trigger wrapped up for sale. Okay. You know how much a 1.8 pound chuck roast went for in that meat case? 15 frickin' bucks.
Jeez.
It had to be a mislabel, but I don't know, because there was nothing else there. And I'm thinking, is this a sign of things to come? For all of our vegan fans applauding this, I'm kind of with you in many ways. But again, as we pointed out yesterday, it's not just the product itself or products. It's the labor. It's the jobs behind producing those products. Now, we better be switching over to permaculture and green energies, however you do it, Green New Deal without destroying more of the planet, whatever. I mean, Christine, Natural Progressive, could come out here and start screaming bloody murder. We love you, Christine. But again, this is the wake-up call we've been waiting for. Shonda, your last word on this one.
Absolutely. It is the wake up call. You're right, Oz. Last time I went to our local Walmart, I hate it, but I have no choice. There was one pack of red meat in the whole entire case. There was plenty of hamburger, don't get me wrong, ground meat. But there was no steaks, roasts, anything like that. And then, when you start hearing about even how our meat is doing right now with Trump rolling back all of our inspections, do you want to even eat it? I don't. I'm a good cook. I have been preparing foods for many years, and I definitely see the difference in our meat quality.
Rhonda, your last word?
Our meat quality has been going down for a while, I have to say.
It is.
But it's true. It's been actually hard for me to go shopping and get enough food for the kids when it comes to meat, the meat portions of it. I don't get to stock up really on much. I just hope when I go in, I'll find something.
Well, and everybody, this thing we've been socially conditioned all of our lives, meat, eggs, dairy, poultry, all that stuff. But, that paradigm's shifting. I guess lastly, as we go out, as we've knocked the hell out of this one, is that went to Costco, and we don't normally do bacon. We don't use bacon because we don't use a lot of meat anymore in our lives, because my wife is from China, and she knows how to make weeds that actually taste better than any salad I've ever had. So, but they're rationing more at the stores. Costco was rationing bacon and some dairy products, butter. I mean, it was like one per card, one per customer, one per account. So anyway, it's a coming, baby. And I was telling my wife, Joey, as we walked out of the place, you think this is tough now? You just wait till the cycle catches up with itself, because manufacturing down, and we're still coming down off that. And it's going to get worse in many ways. And who knows the future? But let's send everybody back to work and get the economy going, shall we? Let's kill
Why not?
Kill them all. Kill them all. Okay, moving right along. Got the unemployment thing going. Again, I apologize, guys. I'm trying to get it together today. Rhonda, you were going to say something?
No,
No.
I can.
Well, let's start this off with actually finish it off with our Wipey Award. Our Wipey Award today is going to go to Megyn Kelly. And we all have different feelings on Megyn Kelly, from her Fox term or MSNBS term, NBC, whatever. But Megyn Kelly, for her interview with Tara Reid yesterday, we have mixed feelings on that, but I want to run a little bit of the bombshell developments about the court docs that came out with Tara Reid's claims. So let's just play a little bit of this.
All right, a lot of guests. We got Irami Osei-Frimpong. You may know him as the funky academic, talking about Joe Biden's plan for Black America. We'll get that breakdown. James also was producer for Ronan Farrow, and we're talking to him today because he and Megyn Kelly got the big post-Biden sit-down with Tara Reid.
He certainly did. He produced that interview with Megyn Kelly. It was really a bombshell sit-down. We have a couple of previews from that interview, which I believe the full thing is being released later today, and we'll keep you updated on that throughout the week. However, one of the major pieces of news that she made there is that she called on the former vice president to drop out of the presidential race. Let's take a listen to what she said.
I want to say, you and I were there, Joe Biden. Please step forward and be held accountable. You should not be running on character for the president of the United States.
You want him to withdraw?
I wish he would, but he won't, but I wish he would. That's how I feel emotionally.
I mean, it's just really a shocking development there in the case that she wouldn't go that far.
Okay, here we go. This is our core story of the day. So before I give you my in on this, I'd like to hear from the ladies, because I believe that so many women have been exposed, harassed, abused, assaulted, and raped in their lifetime, and for whatever reason, either they pursued it or they didn't. So, who wants to start?
I would love to. Something just came out too. I don't know if it was mentioned in this piece, and it's really pissing me off because they're shouting it's not credible, and every time, well, did you say this many years ago? Okay, yes, check mark. All these people come forward, even more so than what anybody else has been asked to do so far that I've seen. But now in court documents, it is documented in Tara Reid's divorce papers, from her husband's side, about what a big piece this has been in, was in their marriage. I mean, it was mentioned in their divorce and how distraught she was in there. So stop, Biden, just leave. This is enough. I'm just getting more mad and more mad and more mad as this continues to go.
Shonda?
56% of independents polled believe Tara Reid. And this just speaks to what the election is really going to look like. I think now is the time, if the Democrats are going to rethink this and putting Biden, which they should have been rethinking this all along. It's ludicrous that he's even our nominee or presumptive nominee. But, the fact that her husband spoke about this in divorce hearings years ago. Come on, most of us have met a woman who has been assaulted and how they carry that wound with them the rest of their lives. I think Tara has demonstrated this repeatedly. The neighbors knew, her friends knew, her family knew, her husband knew. This isn't a Christine Blasey Ford where we're just thinking about a party from 30 years ago. I'm sorry, the evidence is piling up.
Yeah, I'm with you, ladies, 150%. Being the honorary woman in many groups, I've always felt that in this world today of sexism and racism and everything else, that and observing my peers, my male peers in upper management and across the board, and rubbing elbows with some of the richies, their attitude demonstrated to me by them just makes me, I believe Tara Reid absolutely, because I've seen it, physically seen it. And I think, one of the statements were made that Biden said, or somebody said that you are nothing to me, after he assaulted her. I mean, I've seen that. I've seen that talk in the men's room. She's nothing. So women to the ilk of these powerful, privileged asshole assaulters is that to me. And anybody want to come at me and everything about, Joe Biden, believe Joe Biden, he's a good man, everything else. How do you effing know he's a good man? This is all a show, ladies and gentlemen. They're running him like on character, like Tara Reid. Don't run this guy on character because he has none. He has none. He's just up there as a cardboard cutout with an ideological bent that the Democratic machine, the DNC, is trying to push forward on President Obama's coattails, which I will tell you are not that impressive as far as his history and things. So,
I want to also just real quick. I'm so sorry, Oz.
No, go ahead. I monologue, so go ahead.
Get people prepared that there are a lot of people out there that just don't care that he did this. They believe that he did it. It's a very good possibility, but they just don't care. It's apparently not as bad as Trump's grabbing pussy. Be prepared. This will come out. I mean, as it's true, I believe more and more evidence coming out, but they've already said, I don't care.
Yeah. And what I did on my post, because I went crazy on Washington State Rebels yesterday when this came out, the Megyn Kelly interview, is I started, one right after another. I got David Dole in there and I said, bye-bye, Joe. Bye-bye, Joe. And here's part of the reason why, because look at this, and Crystal's going to talk about this in this segment. I'm going to chop this one up quite a bit to give context to our members. Hey, Jeffrey Pearson, good morning. Jilly again. I'm going to chop this up a little bit, but think about it. And I know, Shanda, Rhonda, maybe you have this view. I've never been a Megyn Kelly fan, and frankly, this is an opportunistic piece for Megyn Kelly. However, who's Tara Reid going to go to? The opportunists at Fox that she would be looked at like, she's just going to Fox by the other side because they're all for Trump and against Biden. Or is she going to go to MSNBS? MSNBS. Are you kidding me? MSNBS, NBC. Remember who backed up and let Weinstein get away with shit forever? Matt Lauer. NBC. And guess who Joe Biden's team hired for media outreach or suppression on this? Harvey Weinstein's team that, tried to polish that turd. And I'm not comparing Weinstein to Biden because I don't know. But what I do know is I believe women when it comes to powerful men. So let me get back to where I was. Shanda, you want to add to that?
Well, we know that Weinstein's team is ex-Mossad and CIA. And if you go and you look into the Weinstein case and what they did to these women, Rose McGowan, she has been saying it for years. They destroyed her life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Matt Lauer, again, did I say it yesterday? He had a button under his desk that locked the door. Talk about creepy. I mean, that's worse than, setting up whatever to snare your prey. I mean, it's sickening. But anyway, I digress. Now, this is Crystal Ball's radar again, which I love because, whether she writes it herself or works with her producers, I think she nails it as far as Megyn Kelly. Now, I will expand on this if we don't catch it, but here, let's try it.
Well, we've already talked a bit about Tara Reid's big sit-down interview with Megyn Kelly and Rich McHugh producing. But in addition to the content of the interview, Tara's choice of venue sent a lot of liberal Biden backers and media figures into a total frenzy. How dare she grant her first interview after Biden formally addressed the allegations to someone who's not even on a major network? How dare she sit with Megyn Kelly, who's not part of the official #resistance pundit team? Now recall, we interviewed Tara a full 42 days ago here. That was back in late March. Spring has arrived here in D.C. Flowers are blossoming and the weather, not so much today, but in general, is turning warm. And during all of that time, all the way up until last week, none of the major networks outside of Fox bothered to even request an interview with the woman who has credibly accused the presumptive Democratic nominee of sexual assault. That is truly stunning. Ben Smith over at the New York Times compared this failing to the disastrous handling by the media of Juanita Broaddrick's credible claim against Bill Clinton when NBC News sat for weeks on an exclusive interview that they had taped with Ms. Broaddrick. In this instance, the media first allowed Biden to have his say, of course, to dictate the terms of when and with whom he would face questions. MSNBC even sent out a press notice alerting everyone that they would actually ask him questions on Tara's allegations, something that in an entire month plus of interviews and press events had yet to occur.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there, and then I'm gonna start it again after we talk a little bit about this, because we're getting it out. Now, you heard what she said. Tara Reid was ignored by the major networks, while MSNBS and NBC got Biden all puffed up and got a script ready and got him set to go on Morning Joe with Mika. And Mika was so passionate. Oh, Joe. And she read down the list of how, horrible with that Tara Reid saying that you assaulted her with his fingers and stuff. And then Joe's just sitting there, like that Star Trek puppet that was in that one episode, for Clint Howard back in the day, so there's some metaphor, but and then he comes out, that's categorically, what did he say? Do you guys remember what he said? That's just not true.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, it was. But my point is they set him up with, his script and everything else. They didn't come out at this. They just ignored it. Now let me go on with this. This is really something. I think Crystal nails it.
And now that the powerful man has had his say, and after they got called out by Ben Smith over at the New York Times, now the mainstream press decided that they must hear from Tara this instant. First of all, Tara did already sit for several interviews with Katie, with us, and with Democracy Now! She's also spoken with numerous print journalists for any number of publications, but nonetheless, it was treated as somehow fishy that she backed out of an interview with Fox News' Chris Wallace. Tara says that she and her daughter were facing death threats, but in addition, she'd made clear she really preferred to not sit down with Fox News because of the political bent of the network. She didn't want to be used as some political football by a bunch of hypocrites on the right who don't care one bit about Trump's accusers and would never look to interview them. It would be entirely appropriate and understandable for Tara to reevaluate her options when she had more than just Fox available to her. And in reevaluating those options, what would she find? While Fox's ideological inclination is certainly clear, the ideological inclinations of all the other anchors and networks, that's been made pretty clear as well. By ignoring her, not even covering the story on their air, by failing to ask Biden a single question before he declared that he was ready to receive them and gave the media official permission to ask, they showed that they were every bit as political and ideological as Fox. So it makes all the sense in the world that when thinking about where she might go to receive an honest hearing of what she says is one of the most traumatic experiences of her life, an event that Tara described as crushing, that she would effectively say, you know what? None of the above. You all had your chance over the course of a month to reach out, and you didn't do it. I don't owe you one thing.
Okay, so we've got that cut. Shanda, what's your thoughts?
I absolutely agree with Crystal on this. This is what always gives Trump validity with his fake news BS. I think it's smart that Tara pulled out of the Fox News because she would get that backlash of only going to the opposing side. I think it's smart that she did Democracy Now! And The Rising. She is staying to independent media. And I think that's the course she needs to stay. Screw these corporate media outlets. Why give them anything?
Rhonda?
Totally agree. Those assholes. So, it comes down to the elite, and unless we say this is okay or this is how it's done, then screw you. You mean nothing to me. You mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing with the media. If the media elite isn't the one putting it out, you're nothing to me.
Well, yeah.
Don't look at those guys.
And look at the mainstream media. Look at what they did on their variety shows with Ellen, and in particular, this brings to mind The View. They basically put Bernie Sanders on The View, and just insulted the living shit out of him because of their bent in this this cycle. Oh, Bernie, the Me Too, the ex-Me Too posers over at The View.
Well, that's what they used to begin with. Well, she's a Bernie supporter, so this can't be true.
Exactly.
You know, this is a Trump supporter, so it can't be true. And again, they're using the same rhetoric and.
Yeah.
My question is, how does this make Bernie look? Bernie's unwavering support of Biden in the face of this, and this is getting worse and worse and worse. And we've yet to see Bernie come out and even condone it.
Yeah, I know, and this is going to ruffle some feathers maybe in the group we're watching we have with us right now. But good morning, Kelly. Kelly Lane's in the house. Yeah, it's we again, Bernie's. For now, I guess he's out of the race. But Bernie should be stepping up on this too. But he's following the direction of the DNC, or he doesn't want to get immersed in this. But this is damn important. We're talking about the president of the United States. Bernie endorsed Biden. AOC endorsed they all endorse Biden because it's a team sport, everybody. And they're going to either live or die by their team. But I think this thing was so rigged, shoving Biden down our throat. But now they're, having second thoughts of shoving Cuomo or somebody else in at election. I say bye-bye Joe. Bye-bye Joe.
Joe's got to go. And they are doing everything they can just to push him over the convention line.
Yeah, they are.
Where they can replace him.
Yeah. That's
what they're doing. And they just don't want to truly deal with this. They're like, okay, damn it, Joe.
Yeah.
Just wait. Just push him. Yeah. And then they'll, put in whoever they choose at the moment.
Let me give you a little more of this clip. I wish I could run the whole thing, but I just can't. I'm just trying to cut it up. But again, I'm not a Megyn Kelly fan. I think she's an opportunist, but she does have some good points, and she has done some good reporting about certain things from time to time. I mean, she's got enough money where she can take on the issues and not worry about her financial position. But let's hear some more of Crystal. I think Crystal's nailing it here, and maybe some minds will change with our added dialogue. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be more affirmed.
There is another layer to this as well, though. Look, obviously there's quite a documented history of misbehavior by powerful men at a number of these networks, and there's also a documented failure of several of these networks to report on the sexual misconduct of powerful men. Of course, the most notable entrant in that particular category is NBC News, the same NBC News where both Megyn and Rich used to work, which is why it's so perfect that Tara chose this particular duo in order to give her response. Now, we've gotten to know Rich here as a straightforward, old-school journalist who actually believes in following the story, even when that means it is uncomfortable. If you read Ronan Farrow's book, Catch and Kill, you'll also get to know Rich in the context of his work helping Ronan report out allegations against Harvey Weinstein that would, of course, ultimately take him down. And as we've discussed at length here, NBC quashed that reporting in part because of their own vulnerability around Matt Lauer and others within the organization who were accused of their own Me Too issues. NBC is right now being investigated by the New York Attorney General for sexual harassment claims. But of course, Megyn was a relative short-timer at NBC. She really made her career at Fox News, where one of her first big breaks actually came in her skeptical reporting of the Duke lacrosse rape allegations, which did turn out to be false. Her tenure was both successful and at times controversial. Liberals, of course, hated her for a segment she did on whether Santa Claus was white, and, well, they hated her because she was on Fox. She did have an epic moment I'll never forget the night Mitt Romney lost, where she suggested Karl Rove was doing math to make Republicans feel good before sauntering down the hall to get answers from the election number crunchers in the back room. She became an enemy of the Trump campaign after her aggressive debate questioning about women he had insulted led him to declare that she had blood coming out of her wherever. She's basically pissed everyone off at some point or another, which actually gives her a lot of credibility. She can't be pegged as a Trumper or a Biden shill, and she certainly isn't a Bernie bro. It's hard to think of a media figure who you can honestly less readily peg ideologically. And of course, it's also worth...
Okay, again, I'm not here to defend Megyn Kelly. My point, as you all know, is... you can't go to the lesser of two evils or a different evil when you're doing this. I think it's, frankly, not only opportunistic for Kelly, but it's brilliant in the sense of, hey, we've got somebody that doesn't belong to either one of these goddamn establishment mainstream media pieces of crap, narcissistic, sexist, whatever, everything bad about the propaganda media. So why not go to Megyn Kelly? I'm interested. I'm looking forward to this interview just to get that off out in the open. But again, I wish we didn't have to discuss this, but it's important that we do, because assault, rape by powerful people, it doesn't matter what gender, it happens. You know, they've been intimidated back in the day. Personally, I was intimidated by a female superior back when I looked okay. But it goes both ways. So ladies, what's your feeling about the Megyn Kelly interview as far as coming from Megyn Kelly and not MSNBS or Fox?
Rodney, you want to go first?
Yeah, because you're so passionate. I think you'll wrap it up really well. Honestly, I'm actually happy. I think it was very smart of Tara to be doing Kelly and now as well. And I think she did go and sticking to her guns of sticking with independent media. She was ignored for so long and berated for so long. Why the hell would she want to go into a toxic environment like that and put more abuse on her? Good for her. Shanda, you go, girl.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rhonda. I think it was smart for her to do Megyn Kelly, but I just want to remind people that, if Donald Trump wasn't the pig that he is and he wouldn't have attacked Megyn Kelly like he did, she'd still be towing the Republican line for them if they had a decent candidate, I believe. So I don't want to put a lot of eggs in Megyn Kelly's basket. I appreciate the interview, but that's as far as I'll go with her.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. And, you're playing... It's the plutonomy, it's the plutocrats that are playing these games, these war games amongst each other. And I'd like to point out it's how wealthy you are and how much power you are. These little microcosms of these groups of meat sacks, if they've got billions or millions or they're powerful positions that can have effect on all the above, they're having their infighting. And it's unfortunate that we have to deal with this shit, but it's part of reality and the drama, everything coming out. It makes me ill when we should be thinking about the planet burning down, the health of the country, nature. I mean, our own existence, but we've got to do these big drama things that are real things happening, and they're socially, it's the social aspects of all this minutia that makes me kind of crazy. I think we beat this one up good enough, but again, I'm not promoting Megyn Kelly other than the fact that it has the profile to get the interview out there, and I believe women. Period. I think Kelly Lane, we have a comment from Kelly. It's also very sad that this is what kids are learning about sex. Our culture is very screwed up when it comes to sex. Pardon the pun. There's some other comments in there. And Kelly said, yes, women should be heard and given benefit of the doubt, but this immediately always guilty stuff is dangerous. See the Assange case. I think that's a great example. What do you guys feel about that?
That is a great example. It really is. Good point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even, when it was, when it's against the R side or whatever, I mean, we're not coming out. I mean, I'm not coming out and just saying guilty, guilty, guilty. We need to hear things out. Somebody shouldn't be automatically one way or another, but things should be halted and investigated, is what I'm saying. And I do believe, though, that, we should side at least on the side of the accuser as far as giving enough space to truly produce, what they could to it and not just dismissing them. It is hard for somebody who has been abused to come out. It is devastating to have to go through it over and over and over again. People don't do this lightly. So I do tend to side at least onto the side of the accuser to begin with, at least supporting while it's coming out. Yeah. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it is. And again, I don't know what Tara Reid's financial or position in life is, but compared to an ex-VP or Mr. Vice President, powerful, running for, I'm gonna believe the Tara Reid all day long on this. Let's see. Osama number 5. I thought this was not me, us, but I guess it's not me, my friend Joe. And then Melissa H., good point here. The Tara Reid case has more documentation and people who have said she told them about that at the time than any accuser in my memory. Yes, I agree. Melissa H. Let's see. Yes.
As part of that, is sussing out the truth. When things coming up positive, okay, keep moving forward. The thing is, it's all that's been happening with this is moving forward. Nothing has come to a stop to show that she is not at all being truthful. And by now, with the way media is, if it was a falsity, I damn well guarantee you they would come out and prove that shit.
Yeah.
Well, and there's people out there that know the truth about this case. Biden's chief of staff actually came to an agreement with her. Let's hear from him. What was that agreement? What did she say to him? He should have to testify.
Yeah, this reality shell game of real things in each one of these P's, they're shuffling it around. I guess, what else are they distracting with legitimate concerns? This other things in this shit show of our society, of our world these days, what are they distracting us from? Are we going to get hit by a meteor next week or what? Or they don't even care?
Good chance.
Did you guys see this, the meteor that blew up over the Puget Sound yesterday?
No.
Yes, we had one come in and it blew up. We had a sonic boom. They actually caught video of it. They're saying it was a one-time occurrence. There isn't a bunch coming at us, but they don't really know.
Oh my God. Where's the anti-missile that shield that was that something coming in as a bomb? Oh my God, there I go. Shut up, Oz, you moron.
They don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Well, anyway, we're running. We're filling up another hour.
Let's go.
Anyway, thank you so much. We need to make some announcements here before we get into our movie pick and our outro song. Bad news, everybody. The studio. I call it the Beastie. That's from Maleficent. The Beastie, this big bad computer, which is the live stream studio, which is how we do our stuff here, has been cranky lately. And I don't want it to be cranky because we have more and more shows coming up, and we have a premiere next week with somebody I'm really excited. Who's coming up next week, Rhonda, that's going to have a premiere on Thursday night at 7 p.m.? Do you know, Rhonda?
Well, I can guess it might be our own Shanda Master.
The Accidental Progressive. You want to give everybody a rundown on that one real quick before I get on with the bad news?
Scott, love you, but you rename my show every day. It's The Accidental Activist. And yes, we're going to premiere Thursday at 7 p.m. And yeah, we're super excited. We're going to be bringing you issues, topics, news that not everybody is talking about. I have an incredible, vast network around the world of news. So I come across stories that most people aren't talking about. I'm excited to bring them to you. I'm excited to work with these guys. Uphill Media is so incredible. These are self-driven people that just want to bring you the truth, because we are not getting the truth on anywhere, on any platform anymore with the heavy censorship. So God bless every one of you for everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
I am so excited for your show.
I am
too. So excited for your show.
Yeah,
so you guys don't want to miss out. Oof.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the Beastie is it's going to go into the dungeon Monday, and Lars and Boris are going to give it a couple of turns on the rack. No, and it's starting to shake right now. I can see my rack here. Oh my God. No, you're going to be okay, Beastie. It'll be
We'll
fine.
be checking on it like a patient in the hospital. How's the Beastie? Is it back yet?
Yeah, the Beastie. The Beastie's got to come back. So the Daily Dive is going to be off at least Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. But if we're off Wednesday, it's just because we want to get everything perfect for the premiere of The Accidental Activist. So again, the Beasties.
I'll miss you guys.
Yeah, we're good for the weekend shows. We've got Marcus and Dennis. We're going to, unless a meteor hits me again. Last week we had to postpone the show from Germany, the No Joke Show with Satire News with Marcus Krantz and Dennis Glopner. And then we've got the Town Hall Saturday night What's that? That's,
Yep.
And what's
anti-corruption and election reform? You guys don't want to miss out. This is the meat and potatoes of why we're so screwed in this
the
country.
meat and potatoes, and you're going to bring the gravy, I hope, everybody.
And you got Cindy Black on that show, right?
We got, yes.
Yeah, she's impressive. Yeah, so impressive. I'm excited to have her on.
That's going to be fun. And then we've got Sunday Morning with Larry Taylor, PDPR, where that is just growing like cats and dogs. I'm getting pinged here by a lot of conversation on my phone. That's those twinkle sounds in the background. I used to have a submarine dive signal, but it gave you a nervous breakdown, so I had to change it to wind chimes.
Oh my God, I could not handle that.
I know. It was like, dur, 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 dur. So I had to change it. So now it's like just annoying and not earth shattering. Anyway, Caddyshack Friday. Thank you so much, Shonda and Rhonda. Wonderful, Rhonda. We're glad you're back. You were down in the back yesterday, but now we're
down
back.
in the back.
You were down in the back yesterday. I've got arthritis in my lower back so bad that I can't even lay on a flat surface without pain. But that's okay. I've got to be the ball Danny and get over it. Speaking of be the ball Danny, our movie pick is, of course, what we talked about earlier. Some of you may remember this. I think all of you remember this one because it was quite popular in its day, and that is Caddyshack, 1980, with Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, and a cast of Rodney Dangerfield. It's a cult movie as far as I remember. So I'm just gonna play. I don't know if I can play all of it, but I didn't cue it up. So let me get this ad out of the way. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Come on, give us.
We will see.
No ad.
My favorite character ever. It's just like a crime when I was growing up. I love the little gopher.
Shall we? Me too.
Little
me
gopher,
too. So
yeah,
to compare him to Pete is almost an insult to the gopher.
It is.
I agree.
I apologize to the gopher. So here we go.
I still just see the little gopher butt shaking.
Welcome to the Bushwood Country Club.
Bushwood Country Club.
The membership's exclusive.
You think I'd join this crummy snobatorium?
The help is outrageous. The madness is contagious.
Bad language, fooling around on the course, poor caddying.
But this whole place...
Caddyshack, starring Chevy Chase as Ty Webb.
Who is that disgusting man over there?
A sportsman who really knows how to score.
So, what brings you to this nape of the woods, neck of the wave? How come you're here?
Rodney Dangerfield as Al Servant, a big shot.
My dinghy's bigger than your whole boat!
With an even bigger mouth.
Hey, somebody step on a duck?
Ted Knight as Judge Smales, a man of dignity and a sense of fair play.
I've sentenced boys younger than you to the gas chamber.
Michael O'Keefe as Danny Noonan, a caddy who wants an education and gets one.
You take drugs, Danny? Every day. Good.
Cindy Morgan as Lacey Underall. She's got a bad reputation, and she's working hard to keep it.
You want to tie me up with some of your ties?
And Bill Murray as Carl Spackler.
Carl!
The explosive or anything, nothing to be worried about.
He's not crazy about gophers.
There's Pete.
But he is crazy.
License to kill gophers by the government of the United Nations.
And introducing Mr. Gopher as
Mr.
himself.
I said freeze, gopher!
Caddyshack. It's all about swinging,
Kiss me, you fool.
but not on the course.
Hey, you want to make $14 the hard way?
Playing a good game
That's he got all of that one.
and talking a better one.
Hey, I should have stayed home and played with myself.
Taking shots
That was a bum shot.
and making time.
We couldn't possibly think less of each other.
Controlling your drives
Wow!
and losing your grip.
It is! You! Out!
Score. The man's a menace.
Caddyshack, the comedy with...
Anyway, that's our Caddyshack Friday movie pick, of course, Caddyshack. Any final words? Anybody? Words of wisdom? Any shouts out to the to the audience?
I love you all for joining us every day, man, and putting up with all of our craziness. You know, some of our very pointed talks, but then being able to end with such a funny little outtake is such a great little production. Thank you, Oz, I have to say. Thank you again for doing this.
Thank you. Shanda?
I just want to say, thank you guys so much. The Uphill fam has just welcomed me with open arms. They're giving me so much time and energy and so much of their creativity. I'm so blessed. And thank you to all of you in the chat right now. I'm excited too. I can't wait to bring you an excellent show.
We're all looking forward to it, Shanda. And again, it's a pleasure working with you and Rhonda and Amber and Christine and everybody here. So I'm there's my phone. So again, we're going to go out with this little ditty for Caddyshack it's the Russians. It's the Russian bots. I found this one and it was quite entertaining. I hope you all enjoyed as much as I did. And we will see you hopefully Wednesday, but for sure Thursday morning, unless something really bad happens, but we'll try and let you know. So have a great weekend.
We'll miss you.
Stay safe. Enjoy yourselves.
Excellent weekend.
Have a great weekend. I'm All Right by Kavoossi. Kenny Loggins cover. I'm All Right.
Nobody worry about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be? I'm alright. Don't nobody worry about me. You got to give me a fight. Why don't you just let it be? Do what you like, doing it naturally. But if it's too easy, you gotta disagree. It's your life, isn't it a mystery? If it's nobody's business, it's everybody's game. Gotta catch you later. Get up and get you a job. I'm alright, nobody worry about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be? I'm alright, don't nobody worry about me. You got to give me a fight. Why don't you just let me be? Who do you want? Who you gonna be today? And who is it really? Making up your mind. You wanna listen to the man, pay attention to the magistrate. And well, I got you in the mood. Listen to your heart beating, heart beating, heart beating, heart. Don't get you moving. Make me feel good. Give it up and give it the job.